Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and it's the beginning of April and time for a new episode of the Meta Report. We are celebrating the 4th anniversary of Global War of the Visions this week. We have new Joom, aka Joom the Spring Celestial. I literally have to look at that name every time I try to say it. And we have the new Oldoa coming out. Now for hers, I'll just go look at what that one is too. I call her Oldoa with pants, but really it's just Strategist Oldoa. One of these units, Joom, I've already built, already max reincarnated. Oldoa, well, the Visior's not exactly in a place where I can pump her up real quick by buying her shards, so I'm going to slow roll her just a little bit more, take advantage of all these shard drops in the barracks and in hard quests every day. But we're not here to talk about my account. We are here to talk about what people are playing at the highest end of the game. Did these two new units both ended up being very hyped and both seem to have received good reviews from the community? How are they impacting the meta at the top? Well, we're going to look at this. We're going to look at the charts today and see what that's looking like. So here you go. Here's what we're looking at first. This is the last month of War of the Visions, from the 1st of last month till today, the 5th of April. And you can see a couple of things here. This is Guild Wars offense for the top 25 guilds in the game. And look at the meteoric rise of Joom the Spring Celestial. Here's the date she came out. The next day, she was already breaking into the top 10 in Guild Wars offense for your top 25 guilds in the game. And as we sit today, she is in second place, only behind A2. Now, A2 is experiencing a bit of a rise in popularity, although it's not a rise in her standing. She was already competing with Helena, like young Helena, this white line here. Her and A2 were already competing for the top Guild Wars offensive unit for the top 25 guilds, but with Joom being such a good person to pair up with A2, it has propelled A2 into a spot not many units in the game have been. Like, this far above the pack is rare air. Not a ton of units have ever hit that, and we'll actually go look at that more here in a minute. Helena is not exactly declining a ton. She still stayed pretty level, kind of right here in the middle of the chart, still dropping a little bit, but notice Asterius, new Asterius hanging in there as well. Summer Glassy just continues to be steady in about like 6th or 7th place. Vivi hanging on. Shalza continuing to be steady. She's dropped out of maybe the middle to the bottom part of the top 10, but still hanging in there. New Dario hanging on, and Vivi, you know, the most popular person to pair with young Helena, he's still in the top 10. So there's your offensive units. Now, defense is a little bit of a different story, but not by much. And one more thing. New Oldoa, also in the top 10, right? She's already shot up into like 6th place as of today. She did not shoot up as quickly as A2 because this is such a good, or I'm sorry, as quickly as Joom, because her and A2 have such a good synergy, but new Oldoa already making an impact, and I do anticipate on seeing Oldoa keep climbing. She's elemental synergy with A2, which will help her out a lot. She fits nicely into a team comp with her, so I do think new Oldoa will continue to climb, and this top 10 feels really solid. Now let's look at defense units real quick before we do a little bit of a broader overview, because I do want to look back into the past to talk about this this current trend with A2. But here's your defense settings on the bottom. A2 has shot above young Helena, and this is the first time young Helena has not been the top of the top 25 defense in a long time. We'll go look at that here in a second. Joom looking to overtake her in 2nd place, and I do anticipate that happening. Helena hanging on where she is. Oldoa already into 4th on defense. So the newest tank in the game, looking really good as a defensive unit in Guild Wars. And then you see a clumping of a lot of the same units on offense. The change up is you see this light element duo with Wing Stern and Addison Ray still being paired with Helena. This is probably just because so many people pulled Helena. Like, I want to emphasize that when Helena came out, she was so hyped. Like, people just pulled for her. And so she has this Sephiroth effect, and that's what I like to call it. Once we start looking a little bit broader on these lists, Sephiroth, when you get to like top 500 guilds, is still played everywhere because so many people pulled for him. Young Helena is kind of the same way. When she came out, everybody kind of knew she was going to be this like super meta unit, so many people have her, and she's been out for long enough that people who have been slow building her have finished. So like Joom and Oldoa already being up here, that's people who are rushing her, like I did with this Joom over here. So Joom and Aldo are going to keep climbing. Expect to see them month by month climb this list for at least a little bit. Okay, let's head back to the list here, and I want to zoom out a bit. So I'm going to actually go backwards a page here, and of course my like hotkeys aren't working. Let's try that again. Boom, there we go. So now what we're looking at, this is this is from 1231. So this is this year in War of the Visions. So this year, top 25 guilds. Here's young Helena and her decline. It's been a fairly steady decline from, 42% of offensive teams running her all the way down now to what's she sitting at? Only Helena the Black Rose, only 20%. So a little bit of a drop for her. You can see this yellow line right here, which was Alaya the Alabaster. Alaya hanging in there. I mean, Alaya the Alabaster is an insanely good unit still. And if we zoom out even more, like watch this, we're going to back this way up. Let's drop all the way back just for fun to like June 1st of 2023. And here's what I was talking about earlier. This rise in A2 puts her in competition with units like Alaya the Alabaster at her peak and young Helena at her peak. This is insane. We all thought A2 looked really good when she came out. I think she overperformed and impressed us a lot. And now that she's got a great sword, buddy to pair with, look at this. I mean, they're approaching peak meta numbers right here, and it's good to see. I love seeing a collaboration unit like A2 getting this kind of love, and I love seeing a non-collaboration unit, in fact a non-limited unit like the new Joom, coming out and having this impact as well. If you pulled Helena and she's still your girl, like the top guilds are still playing her. Now watch this. Let's change max guild rank from 25 to 100. Let's look at the top 100 guilds in the game and see how that changes. And there you see, who's this person right here? Roth coming in. Roth's still a big player in the top 100 guilds. Young Helena still dominating the top 100 guild meta. A2 though has shot up into second place. Again, that's what's going to help there is Joom's rise, and you can see Joom rising in the top 100 as well. And people who have been slow building units. This rise represents a little bit of the slow build, and then this spike is Joom coming into the game. So that's that right there. That's your top 100 guilds. Let's broaden it out to the top 500 guilds. So now we're hitting like guilds with a bunch of active players, and here you see the most dominant person in War of the Visions in the last year, and that's Sephiroth, who in the top 500 guilds in the game was at one point played in 25% of all offensive teams. In fact, he is still second. So the power of a lot of people having something, if you're not at the very top of the game, is relevant right here. In fact, Black Rose Helena is still in 10th place in the top 500 guilds on offense teams. You see units in there like Cloud, you see units in there like Flagbearer Glassy. So there's a lot of craziness happening when you go up to the top 500. If we were to drop this back just for fun, we can drop it all the way back to January 4th. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, there's Sephiroth's release date. You go back here, this is Cloud when he was still dominating the game. It's pretty awesome to see. This second lot, that's going to be Alaya coming in right here. Alaya never hit numbers like Sephiroth did in the top 500. If we zoom this back in to the top 100, oh, apparently I clicked off of that. Let's zoom back into the top 100 guilds right here. What are we going to see? Okay, so there's Sephiroth popping into the game. Or that's Roth. I'm sorry. Sephiroth, you dropped to top 100 over the last year and a half. Sephiroth has not even been in the top 100. So that, again, that's just something I like looking at that. Data analysis people out there, go to town. Have fun with what that means. In my opinion, what that means is a lot of players are kind of casual and they love Sephiroth, so they pulled him and are playing him. But your try-hard players, your players who are really trying to push the meta, those are going to be your top 25 guilds. And so if you want to look at what those look like again, we can just go ahead and show that. I think this is the most useful information if you're looking at what team comps are currently dominating the game, and then over time, what team comps have dominated the game. and here you see it. If we were to expand this out, let's say top 100 units, here you can see those spikes. I don't love looking at the top, this many units on the graph, but you can see the spikes to show off like how impressive A2's current spike is. This spike here, this was Helena. This spike here was Elia the Alabaster. Here's Sephiroth's spike. Here's Flagbearer Glassy Sottily spike when they comboed, and their combo was considered insane at the time. Joom and A2 have already overtaken that in popularity. Here's the this is King Bradley, Queen Macherie, Dialdo combo. That was a 3-person combo right there that dominated the meta for a while. And it's just a really good look at like what elements have hit the top of the meta at what points. All the way back in January of over a year ago, you see the Snow Eliza meta. That's crazy. And the rainbowness of the current meta, I'm pretty proud of it. Like, I really like them. We can go ahead and let's zoom it back in a bit here to, recently. Let's just go for the last 4 or 5 months. There is a lot of different colors on this chart, and it's cool to see. Like, we always knew that the weapon-based teams would be a long game, and weapon-based vision cards have been out in War of the Visions for a long time. We are really in the weapon-based meta right now. If you can double dip and have elemental and weapon-based, that's the best. But if you can't, it looks like weapon-based are currently more powerful, with the A2 Joom combo being the current trend. All right, so there's the charts. There's my little analysis of it in about 10 minutes. Let me know what you guys think about it. I'm loving the dividends my A2 is paying. Happy I pulled for her and built her. I hope you did too. If not, and you go get Joom the Spring Celestial, she's really good. She's really good. So throw under some water teams, throw under some great sword teams, and have a good time. All right, y'all. I'll catch you next time. Peace.